Hey, what's going on, CC supporters and newcomers? We're putting a different twist on today's video. We're going to give you a blueprint on how to not only survive, but come out on top with an encounter against Gotham's own Batman. Let's get to it. Now, we can all agree Gotham is one of the most unfavorable places to live in all comics and even in real life. But a series of unfortunate events have transpired that has spiraled us into paying $300 a month in a Gotham City apartment. Okay, that's probably overselling it. At $300 a month, you probably have a bed made up in some dude's bathtub in a tenement building. Anyway, Batman is not giving us much security either because more often than not, the victim is pushing up daisies before he arrives with his heroics. Not to mention the mass destruction of the everyday guy's property. So let's get into story time. You're living in Gotham, and for the 5th time this month, Batman has destroyed your building or ran over your car with his Batmobile chasing the same villain that's escaped for the 3rd time this week. Even better, he's beaten your face in for stealing a bag of chips because, again, living in Gotham, you're clearly not well off financially. Fed up with the constant disrespect, it's time to get even with Mr. Wayne. But how in the hell do you beat a combat specialist genius, and to top it off, he's a billionaire with resources? At this point, you've been hospitalized and filed another complaint, so nothing left to lose. This is how the regular Joe gives Batman a good lick. So, we already know Batman is Bruce Wayne, and living in Gotham, we see what the Dark Knight is. A ruthless, no-nonsense sociopath that will maul you if you try to approach it with any sort of aggression. He can also financially break you if he so chooses. Now, despite all of this, and being the master of prep time, Bats has seen many dark and broken days from human characters like us, who would be considered inferior in the categories above. We have a short list of ways to defeat Bruce, so we are going to use some comic examples to help show how we can pull these things off. You could expose him, sue him, or catch him lacking. Notice we didn't list beat him up because I don't know about you, but my fat ass can barely take on Adam West, let alone the Batman. Anyway, let's take a little trip back to 2012's Batman Volume 2 storyline. The Dark Knight was up against the Court of Owls with the ever-tricky Talon as the man leading this assault. When Gotham's Caped Crusader first went toe-to-toe with the Court of Owls, a cabal of Gotham's elite always operating in the shadows, he had no clue what he was up against. And that was just enough for them to have the upper hand against Batman. Since we are in Gotham, the Court of Owls is all around. All you have to do is spread a little rumor that Bruce Wayne might possibly, perchance, be Batman. Now, since you are not financially well off and there's nothing common folk love more than juicy gossip and rumors, this might work out well for you. This will start the plan of exposing him because the court will definitely hear the rumors. Since you know who Batman is and where he operates from, you could just maybe accidentally say Wayne Manor might be hiding the Batcave. Oops. Batman's entire success as Gotham's Caped Crusader is owed to his strategies, and there is no strategy for rumors and gossip. Now, maybe the Court of Owls catches wind from the rumor mill and sends Talon, a highly trained assassin, to look into these strange rumors. So let's do some quick math. You know who Batman is and how he operates, plus the Wayne family had a connection with the Owls. Also, Batman is looking into the rumors of the secret organization, and the court wants dear old Betsy off their backs, so sending Talon in for a quick investigation would clear their doubts. Even if he was unsuccessful, if Talon is somehow fended off by Wayne Manor defenses or even his highly trained housemates, that will draw a lot of suspicion to Mr. Wayne. To give more support to how good Talon is, remember, before Bruce could figure out who he was really up against, Talon attacked him, stabbed him twice, and trapped him. Bruce woke up to find himself at the mercy of Talon and obviously the Court of Owls right inside their underground labyrinth. In the court's underground labyrinth, Batman underwent days of intense torture, which involved both psychological and physical. The list would continue to go on, and if you want to know more about it, maybe we can make a video on Batman and the Court of Owls just for you guys. Let us know in the comments. Anyway, the power of a little gossip goes a long way, and the way it spreads, it would be hard to pinpoint back to its origin. But let's say Batman does figure it out, which isn't impossible considering the title World's Greatest Detectives. There are some ways to go about this. You can start another rumor about him working with Gordon, or tell him to his face once he finds you, or if he approaches you as Bruce. You could even make a post on whatever the DC Earth social media outlets are and talk about how suspicious it is for Bruce Wayne to talk to a 5-figure guy like yourself who happen to be spreading the rumors he's Batman. Now, you can beat him here if you can get him to pay you off, but let's assume your pettiness has reached unbounded proportions. Also, Batman doesn't do well with blackmail, so I'm sure he will counter this somehow, and don't forget, you got beat up just for that bag of chips. We're just giving you all the facts in order to not only survive, but really beat him. So hey, how about you beat that like and subscribe button? Another character in Batman's history has given him the business, and it's no other than Jason Todd, also known as Red Hood. Devious fellow, by the way. He came back as a villain or anti-hero, depending on your stance, but with the sole aim of killing his former mentor. If you were beaten to death with a crowbar by your parents' mortal enemy, you'd probably feel some angst towards your dad. Especially if you came back to find out he not only didn't avenge you, but that fool is running around free. Let's get creative here. Red Hood is not the only one who has been victimized from Batman's inability to arrive on time or make amends for his many failures. This was not listed above, but this will tie in with the exposing of Batman. Get Gotham citizens to turn on him by highlighting how not only did he let his sidekick get murdered by his favorite psychopath, he has also let the same thing happen to each of their loved ones without any sort of reparation. At the end of the day, Batman is responsible because these villains are allowed to keep recycling themselves back into society, and Batman still has not solved the issue. Now, Batman might be the only thing keeping Gotham together, honestly, but it's pretty easy to find angry people in a city like Gotham. Some may be wondering at this point, why not get one of Gotham's villains to just attack Bruce Wayne or pull up to Wayne Manor? Well, the answers to these questions are this. You're too broke to hire the villains that are not sane enough to have a sit-down conversation with you, and you're not crazy enough to deal with the lunatics that may torture you on a whim. Imagine walking up to the Joker or Killer Croc or even Penguin talking about, hey, I know who Batman is. You'd be lucky if you weren't a casualty or at least tortured.
Find you. Rip your flesh like paper.
Batman may kill you just for spoiling it for him. And if you think you can afford Deathstroke, forget about it. But here's another famous character that got the better of Batsy and may be the best of both. That is, Bane. Dark Knight Rises isn't the only time Bane has sent Batman to the cleaners. In fact, Bane was literally the first character ever to truly defeat Bruce physically.
Oh, your money!
Now, never in your sane mind should you approach a juiced-out junkie like Bane, but calling from a texting app, star 67, or even a letter, and there's a good chance Bane will ignore you for the tip you dropped. Look, the way you contact does not matter as long as he doesn't know it was you. Just like with Talon, Bane made sure not only to defeat Bruce physically, but also emotionally and mentally. In fact, Bane did such a good job that Bruce decided to leave crime fighting for a while. Bane actually got Bruce to quit. Only problem would be you need a new place to live if Bruce quits. Now, in between the pages of Batman issue 497, Nightfall, Bane knew the only way to actually defeat Bruce was to truly weaken him. So what does he do? He goes on to free every single inmate in Arkham Asylum. We're talking Joker, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, Riddler, and a bunch of the other lesser-known guys. You're probably wondering why he did that, and no, it wasn't to team up with them. It was really just to wear him down. So over the next few months or issues, Batman grows weaker and weaker as he's putting each criminal away. Man, what a plan. Just dealing with the Joker and Scarecrow was enough to push him over his physical and mental limits. After surviving Joker and Scarecrow, guess what came next? That's right, Bane. But rather than just throw himself in the thick of things, he sends his goons to first assault Batsy to really chip away at whatever was left. Before their big encounter, Bane had even figured out the face underneath the mask. Bane needs his credit for his strategic abilities as well, and to be able to pull all of that off, he seems like a good candidate to use to get even. Now, could all this lead to killing him? Yes, possibly. Is it all going a bit far for some property damage and a trip to the hospital? Well, that's for you to decide. All I'm saying is, I would not tolerate that level of disrespect. Now that we've gotten all these comic instances out of the way, let's wrap up our plan, shall we? You've made it this far because of all the solutions above did not quench your thirst and curiosity on how you would beat Batman. Well, from Talon to Red Hood and right down to Bane, there was one constant, the sweet, sweet element of surprise. Yeah, Batman was trained in the shadows by Ra's al Ghul and all, but Bane got it done. Sure, you're not Bane, but with just enough planning, you could really do a number on the Bat, especially because he would never suspect a regular citizen like you to be around. If you're going to face the Batman, you gotta be ruthless and cunning just like those guys. With all the crimes happening in Gotham, fighting yourself some sort of toxin or just regular rat poisoning would weaken him with that. Fear toxin and Joker venom may make Bruce more dangerous, so try to stay away from the extreme stuff. He is still human, so he's still susceptible to human issues. This could give you the chance to beat him up. You should probably do some training on your own and beef up in the gym before this approach, because we have seen Batman overcome poisons that affect him physically and mentally, so don't expect him to just roll over and make it quick. Don't do any villain monologuing or anything. The way to get close is to simply get a job as a caterer at one of his events. Now, this will be playing the long game because you never know all the time when he'll actually pop up. If you're denied getting a job in Gotham, you have bigger problems than revenge. As mentioned earlier, Batman always gets the upper hand against his opponents because he knows who he's dealing with, but he doesn't know you. You could easily rip a page out of Bane's playbook. So get this, Batman can only fight for so long, right? So to add even more assurance, wait until he's finished fighting. Hey, it's Gotham. Something is always going to pop off and Bruce will fight regardless of how he's feeling. Once he is feeling weak from his night of heroics, that's when you attack. Some may be able to take advantage of this and get some good licks in, but for those who can't, bring something with you that may be able to get a good shot in. Now, how far you want to take it, I leave to your discretion. But here comes the final touch to beating him. Batman is a superhero and all, but he's not above the law. The only reason he has not been penalized by it is because his identity is still somehow fully unknown. So, while Batman is waiting for Alfred to come to his rescue after you beat him up or wait for him to pass out, no judgment, take off his mask and take some photos. Hey, you might have got even, but you are still without a car, a decent place to live, or a decent living. See the bigger picture. It's time to get paid for all the pain and suffering. Use the photos and make digital and physical copies. Mail them to good old Wayne Manor and ask for some payment for all the crap he put you through. If not, send them everywhere. Online, police stations, newspaper, and finally, sue the out of the guy. Followed by a restraining order, of course. You can't have Batman pressuring you, you know. Again, Batman does not do the whole blackmail thing, so be prepared to send them. Now, how this would work is you get a bunch of people to sue with you and make it a class action. The citizens of Gotham would definitely join in a nice class action lawsuit. The reason why this would work is because that would expose everyone connected with Batman, meaning his accomplices, and despite how distant Bruce acts, he cares for his Bat family. Considering all the list of demands he has been presented with, cutting a check should be pretty easy. Now you were able to beat him up, kinda, and get paid for it. Now the drawback for all your actions will probably be you leave Gotham in a very chaotic state. Waking up seeing on your timeline Batman sued would be crazy. However, this video is about beating him, not the ethics of the whole thing. However, the recent issue of Batman, he's broke, so now you may have to be satisfied with just kicking him while in his costume. The key to all of this is to stay off Batman's radar until you are able to execute your plan. If he finds you suspicious, you can forget about trying to beat him in any way. Resources, combat skills, and intellect are not something an everyday person can match blow for blow, so you have to neutralize all those strengths to really come out on top. Now, if you're really lucky somehow, you will maybe get some metahuman abilities and even the playing field, but sticking to this plan is more feasible. Get the help to cancel his combat, surprise him to cancel his intellect, and expose him to take his resources. And to get paid for all your trouble, put him on the stand, and that is how you will defeat the Batman.